Hey everyone, welcome back for day 4 of our 7-day yoga challenge. Thank you for joining me again. Since yesterday was a little bit of a challenging practice, I wanted to take it a little easy today, focus a little bit on the lower back and on the hips. So we are going to start off seated. I'm just going to face sideways so that you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to start off with the knees bent and the feet planted. We're just going to alternate between a chest opener and a little bit of a lower back stretch. So first that chest opener. I want you to place those hands right behind the hips. And then we're just going to open through the chest, kind of push it forward, pull the shoulder blades together. And then with your head, you can kind of decide what feels good for this. So you can let the chin tilt back a little bit further if that feels good. You can keep the neck nice and long, or you can tuck it in a little bit if that feels better. With your exhale, we're going to walk those hands forward. Then we're going to just kind of gently place the chest or the belly onto the thighs. So if you would like to extend the legs out a little bit more or bend the knees a little bit further, bring it closer. And then I'm just going to put my head between my knees and let the lower back just kind of open up and stretch here in this position. From this, we're just going to move front to back a few times, take it nice and slow. Take a moment in each of those positions, that chest opener to that lower back stretch. And then I'm going to start to slowly just inch my legs out a little bit further. So I get a little bit more of a lower body stretch as I lean forward. And if you do this and you can't quite get the chest or the belly to the legs anymore, or the head to the legs anymore, that's okay. Just taking your time, doing it once or twice for each time that you move the feet out a little further and lengthen the legs a little bit more. Eventually bringing the legs all the way long. Again, finding that stretch, just taking it as far as you can. So fingertips towards the shins, the ankles, the toes. You can walk them out beside the legs. Excellent. One more time in each direction. And then bringing it back to that nice long spine. From here, we're going to take it into a single leg focus, a single leg stretch. So all I'm going to do is take that right leg and fold it in so that the sole of the foot comes towards the inner thigh. We're going to start off with just a lower body stretch. I'm just going to fold it forward, just facing my torso slightly towards that leg. Bringing those fingertips once again down towards the shin, the ankle, the toes. Finding that lower body stretch. Once you get to the edge of your range of motion, maybe taking that exhale, releasing the spine a little bit, releasing the shoulders. Maybe you can let the head and the neck relax and release a little bit. We're going to come out of this and back into it one time here. So with your next inhale, we're coming up to that nice long spine. And exhale to come back into it. Nice. We're going to turn this into a lateral stretch. So I want you to keep those left fingertips down towards the left toes. That right arm is going to sweep around and up over top. We've got a nice long line from those right fingertips down to that right hip in contact with the mat. Next exhale brings those fingertips back down towards the toes into that stretch one final time. And then our inhale rolls us back up to that nice long spine. From here, we're gonna find a spinal twist. So I want you to take that right leg and just step it right over top of the left. The left is now a little bit more down my center line. We're gonna take that left arm up towards the ceiling, turn the torso just to face that right wall, and then you've got a couple options for the left arm. You can circle it around the outside of the knee, or you can bring the elbow to the opposite side of the knee. My right arm is gonna come around behind my back, and just putting a little bit of pressure there to open the shoulders to that side wall. From here, we're gonna find a counter twist. So all you're gonna do is bring it through center, and then that right arm is gonna come around to the outside of that knee. Left arm goes around behind the back, shoulders over towards that left wall. And we're going one more time in each direction. So back through center, left arm lifts, we bring it around. And back through center, counter twist, right arm around to the outside of that knee, left arm around behind the back. And releasing that, bringing it back to center. All right, fabulous. From here, we're gonna go into a little bit of a glute stretch, figure 4. Again, I'm gonna turn sideways just so that you can see me. We're going to bend that left knee and plant the foot. And I just put a little pressure back into my palms right behind the hips. From here, you've got a couple of options. You can lengthen the spine and just walk the torso in a little bit. We're thinking about opening that right knee towards that opposite wall. If this feels good, you can stay right here. You can also lengthen that left leg once again and fold it a little further forward. This changes up the stretch a lot. This changes up the profile of the stretch. You might feel it a little bit more through that left leg. Your other option is to rock it on back. Bend that knee, interlace those fingers underneath that left knee, and we're still thinking about pressing that right knee just kind of away from the body. Excellent. If you weren't down on your back, I invite you to go ahead and bring it on down onto your back. We're gonna bend that left knee, plant the left foot. I'm gonna take my arms out to either side into a nice T shape. And I'm just gonna cross my right ankle a little bit further over my left knee. From here, we're gonna take both knees down to the left side. So the ankle that is crossed over is going to be on the bottom. That planted foot, that planted knee is going to be on top of that foot, and this just serves to deepen that stretch. And I'm going to look over that right shoulder, opening up to one side. Go ahead and bring it back to center, and we're going to sit it back up, uncross that leg, and we're going to switch sides. So that left foot is folded in, sole of the foot on the inner thigh, right leg is out long, and we're just going to start with that fold once again. So walking those fingertips down towards the shin, the ankles, the toes. And we're going to come out of this stretch and back into it one time here. So inhale brings us up to that long spine. Exhale folds us forward. Once again, when you get into this stretch, maybe you can release through the lower back, through the shoulders, through the head and the neck. And we're going to turn this into that lateral stretch next. So those right fingertips stay towards the right toes. The left arm comes up over top. Nice big stretch from those left fingertips down to the left hip. And our exhale circles those fingertips back around. We're back in that fold. Next inhale brings us up nice and tall, and we've got those spinal twists next. So I'm going to bring that right foot back in towards center, left leg crosses over, right arm lifts, spinal twist. Again, that arm can wrap around or that elbow can come around to the outside. Left arm is around behind the back, shoulders open towards that left wall. And taking that counter twist, bringing the spine back through center, over in the opposite direction. And one more time each direction, bringing it through center, over towards that left side. And then one more time that counter twist, opposite direction. Alrighty, bringing it back around to center. We're gonna bend that right knee, plant that foot, and once again, you've got those same couple of options. So you can lengthen that spine, put a little pressure into the palms, seek it forward. You can lengthen that leg again and fold it forward, or you can rock it back, bend that right knee, interlace those hands underneath that knee. Once again, we're thinking about opening that left knee towards that opposite wall. And from here, we've got that spinal twist. So if you aren't down on your back, bring it down, bending that right knee, planting that foot. We're crossing that left ankle just a little bit further over top, arms out into that T. Both legs are going to go down towards that right side. Looking over that left shoulder. And go ahead, bring it back to center. Roll it on up. We've got one more seated stretch before we change it up. We're gonna take the soles of the feet and just pull them together. Those knees come down to the side, and you've got a couple options here. I like to find this stretch by finding my long spine, grabbing the ankles, and just hinging forward at the hips. You can also put the elbows onto the knees, or you can sit it back a little bit and open up through the chest while you open through the hips. Any of those options are fabulous. Taking a couple breaths here. Next inhale releases that stretch, and we're going to bring it over to hands and knees. Alrighty, from hands and knees, we're going to start off with a little modified child's pose to cobra stretch, little flow. So we're pressing those hips back towards the heels, opening through the chest. And then with that inhale, we're going to press the hips forward, keep those palms planted, and we're in that cobra for that front side body stretch. You can always keep it in that full cobra or bend those elbows and bring it down to baby cobra. From here, I just want you to flow a couple times in each direction. Take it at a pace that feels good. So pressing it front to back. Finding that nice stretch. Nice. One more time in each direction, and we'll meet back at that hands and knees. So hands and knees, we want those hips right over top of the knees. The wrists can be either right under the shoulders, or you can take them out a little bit if putting the pressure on your wrists makes them a little bit uncomfortable. So we're just decreasing that bend, whereas if they're under the shoulders, we've got a little bit more of an angle on that wrist. We're gonna start with our cat and cow here. So our inhale presses the belly towards the floor, lifts the hips, and then the chin if it feels good. Our exhale rounds the spine up towards the ceiling, tucks those hips underneath and the chin towards the chest. Once again, if that feels good. Just flowing a few times here, each direction, finding that spinal range of motion. Good, 2 more nice deep breaths, twice more in each direction. And then bringing the spine back to a nice neutral. From here, we're gonna find another spinal twist. So that right arm is gonna lift up towards the ceiling with our inhale. And then our exhale is gonna bring us down into a twist. You can take a pause here and place the shoulder on the floor. You don't have to come all the way down if that doesn't feel good. You can keep it moving here, flowing up and then back down. Anything that feels good here in this spinal twist. Just kind of taking it at a pace that feels good for you. Sticking to that first side for 2 more breaths, whether you're flowing with each breath or holding down towards the floor. When you finish that second breath, we're just gonna switch it up. So starting off at that hands and knees position, left arm this time. Inhale lengthens, exhale twists. One more nice deep breath for this side. And then bringing it back to hands and knees. All right, we're gonna find our downward facing dog for a little stretch for the lower body, curling the toes under, pressing the hips up and back. Maybe pedal out those heels, taking a moment. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can always keep it in that child's pose, knees wide, hips back towards the heels, taking the option that works best for you. Alrighty, from here we're going to take it into a low lunge. You've got 2 options to get to that low lunge. You can go right from this downward facing dog, stepping that right foot forward and then letting that left knee come down. Or you can set those knees down, take a little pressure off the wrists, circle that right leg around, and then that left knee is already down. Once again, we're going to do a little flow. We've got our hip flexor stretch and then our hamstring stretch. So for my hip flexor, I'm going to exhale and press my hips down towards the mat. So I'm pressing a little deeper into this. We're trying to make sure that the ankle kind of starts right underneath the knee, because if you start any further back as you press forward, that puts a little bit of extra pressure on the front side of the knee. So we want to make sure that that foot stays flat. As we inhale, we're going to press the hips backwards, lengthen that right leg, lift the right toes, and we're hinging forward at the hips. Fingertips come down to meet the mat for a little stability, or towards those toes for a little bit more of a stretch. From here, same as that child's pose to cobra, we're just going to press nice and easy front to back. So finding that hip flexor stretch, and then pressing it back. And go ahead once more in each direction. We'll meet back in that low lunge. So we're back in our low lunge, and then we've got one more stretch, and then we'll switch sides. The left hand is going to stay down. Right arm is going to open up towards the ceiling. We've got that spinal twist. We've got that nice stretch. We're releasing the lower back with our exhales here. Go ahead and bring that right hand back down. We're gonna bring it up just to a long spine. Lift those arms so they face in front, and then we're just gonna open that right arm into one more spinal twist here. Once again, releasing that lower back with our exhale. A little balance work here, keep the core strong. Next exhale brings it back. We bring those hands down. Two options for our transition. You can curl the left toe under, lift the knee, and switch through our downward facing dog, or you can keep that left knee down, bring that right leg back around, and then step that left leg forward. Either way, we're meeting in this position. Once again, that right knee is down, that left knee is over the ankle, and we're just gonna move in that front to back range of motion. Our exhale, pressing the hips forward into that hip flexor stretch. Our inhale, pressing backward, lengthening that front leg, lifting those left toes. You can use those fingertips for balance. You can point them towards those toes for a little deeper of a stretch. Good, one more time in each direction here on this second side. And then we'll meet back in that low lunge. When you get there, this time right hand stays down, left arm opens up into that spinal twist. Go ahead and bring that left hand back down. We're lifting the torso, those arms come in front. One more spinal twist here, opens that left arm towards that back wall. Bringing it back to center with that next exhale. Planting those hands, bringing that left knee back to meet the right. We're gonna go one more time into that child's pose, press the hips back. One more time into that cobra, press the hips forward. Curl the toes under, press the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Walking those feet forward to meet the hands. Forward fold. Inhale rolls us up to that mountain pose. We're gonna finish with one nice deep breath. Our inhale takes the arms out and up. Palms meet overhead. Exhale pulls the hands down to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for day 4 of our 7-day yoga challenge. A little bit of a relaxing flow today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. The light in me honors the light in you. Bowing as we say, namaste.